Hello everyone, and welcome to something that isn't KSP for once. Is this real? Chat, is this real? Is this real? Hey, Hef's diversifying his content. He's doing... what? Diversifying his content. Diversifying his content? That is a fatal transgression. Algorithm, cast him into oblivion. Yeah, that's right, it's Lethal Company, everyone's favorite game about collecting trash in order to please Jeb. Except there's a problem. It looks as though we decided to start our mission in some pretty hazardous conditions. Yeah, in order to make things a little bit more interesting, I've installed the Super Eclipse mod, which, as you would expect, makes every moon eclipsed. Forever. Oh yeah, and you also spawn at midnight, meaning that from the very second you land on a moon, every single monster on the map has already spawned. And I'm all alone, because apparently, according to my friends, this is not the definition of fun. Whatever, I'm sure it'll be just fine.
Where you will eat and sleep for the duration of your contract. We trust you will be a great asset to the company. Great asset to the company. Great asset to the company. Asset to great asset to the...
Dropping onto experimentation, we were greeted with total darkness. Perhaps even advanced darkness, you could say. And also, shh, dogs. After bunny hopping my way past the dogs, I then entered the facility, and then proceeded to have quite possibly the worst luck I've ever had on this moon. Like, just look at this. Nutcracker on experimentation? Is this... I honestly don't even know if I've, ever seen that in my life. That is insane. My mic is, or sorry if my sound quality is a little bit bad. I mean, I'm on a laptop right now. Nutcracker plus Bracken on experimentation, the easy map, excuse me? I knew that was gonna happen, man. That is such bullshit. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really a big deal, though, seeing as I had no scrap on the ship anyway, but just really... Huh, you know, I guess Bob's a little bit angry today. Either that, or Zeus just lost a game of checkers or something. On the next day, though, things went a little bit better, even though it was stormy out. Apparatus, don't mind if I do. Alright, now that I'm just running scrap back and forth to the ship, something that might be interesting and worth talking about is that in this mod, there actually isn't a time limit for when you have to be back to the ship. Like, it'll just never leave without you, because it's already midnight the second you drop. So that pretty much means that you just have infinite time, right? You can just get as many items as you want. But I feel like the limiting factor here is really just my own patience, which clearly I don't have enough of, because I didn't stick around to get every single thing. And the next day I went to Assurance, where I found quite possibly the best fire exit I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, after that absolute scam, I had to go to Maine. But, you know, as its name would indeed suggest, this Assurance turned out to be ass, because I got literally 2 things. All I got was Turret's Syndrome and, 2 items, because for some reason I couldn't pick up the man-eater baby, so I just had to get out of there before he started crying, and I just wouldn't be able to do anything. Like, what is that? After finishing the first quota, I then sold my scrap to Jeb, and then continued on to Quota 2, where I landed on Val, which was actually kind of chill, you know? I saw the giants. Fee-fi fo-fo mask. I said hi to the Bracken, no nutcrackers this time, and then heard the snare drum of a max speed barber, because how they work is the later in the day it is, the faster they get, so because it's already midnight, he's already at max speed, so he's just cruising around the facility. So I just got out of there as quick as possible, I'm not dealing with that. And then on the way back, I had a good old-fashioned Western standoff with this baboon hog. And then the next day, I proceeded to not do anything but get a beehive that almost got me killed. Multiple times. Yeah, that was way too close for what it was worth. And then last day at Quota, I just went back to Assurance, popped in fire exit, just destroyed the snare fleet. Could do a fun trick, you wanna see this? Yeah, and then just left. Okay, you know what I was saying about that really good fire exit spawn earlier? I take it all back, this one is better.
Target acquired.
And then I proceeded to actually get a decent amount of scrap, and then it all got stolen by the Mafia, but we don't talk about that. I won't take this though, you know, man. I gotta at least reclaim the alcohol. Oh, this is good. Soda and air horn. Soda! Dude, another locker room with no lockers? Are you serious, man? 55 engine's pretty good, though. And then the very next day, guess what? They struck again! Don't worry though, I showed this guy who's boss at least. Oh, also a Dune reference, look at that. And then day 3, I don't want to talk about day 3. All I found was a whisk, okay? I'm sad. Doggy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? He's nodding his head. Holy fuel tank on an I-beam, $4.99. And then I went back to Val, where I proceeded to massacre the entire local tulip snake population. This guy's driving me absolutely crazy. Although I don't think the Giants like that very much.
Later.
So I must say, in what world does a soccer ball weigh 19 pounds? After that, it was off to Adam's house, Adamance. Wait, what the? Holy shit, the Baboon Hawks just absolutely wrecked that giant. I've never seen that before. I didn't know they could do that. Where I found the baby. I'll call him Jimmy, alright? And, well, it looks like the monsters must have thrown a rager here at some point, because there's red party cups everywhere, isn't there, Jimmy? You know, I'm sure they're just a bunch of chill guys.
Hi, how are you?
Well, that ain't good. I mean, I did install one helpful mod to make this slightly less punishing. You know, see how I didn't lose absolutely everything, even though I did die from the Bracken's polite welcome?
Welcome to Chili's.
I mean, despite that though, I barely have anything left on the ship and 1 day left to meet the quota, so with no other options really, because the weather was terrible everywhere else, I routed the ship to Rend. But not before stopping off at the company building to get my favorite item, flashbangs. And because of how this mod works, literally 3 seconds after I entered the facility, I encountered her. What do you mean? There's nothing there. She's not real. Huh? And neither am I. What's going on here? Help! Help! It wasn't actually all bad, though. There was a decent amount of loot pretty close to the entrance, enough to meet Quota, in fact. Just ignore the minor heart attack I had along the way.
Ah! Shit!
After leaving facility, I then trudged back through the snowstorm at a pace comparable to a sloth on anesthesia thanks to the cash register. And after several close encounters with dogs, the quota was saved by $3. Jeb is satisfied. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, not a lot really happened this quota. I'd say the only noteworthy thing I really did this quota was achieve comedy. And also drive myself crazy with this noise. Holy crap, is that another Dune reference? And then, after spending literally 5 minutes debating what to do, bought a jetpack. I'm sure this will turn out to be a very worthwhile investment and I didn't just seal my fate here. Come on, don't worry, I went to jetpack flight school, but not cruiser driving school. We don't talk about that.
Wait for some ride! What the hell? Purple guy!
Oh yeah, I also went back to Adam's house. Day 1 of this quota began with quite possibly the most chaotic start to a day I've had, as immediately there was a whole brigade of baboon hawks outside the ship, and after realizing the jetpack would be pretty useless in helping me actually get to the fire exit, because, well, I can't see anything. Zeekers, add night vision goggles, please. I'm begging you. A giant tried to ask me if I had games on my phone, and I had to use my flashbang. After the chaos had subsided, I then flew over to main entrance and actually got quite a few items. Wait, there's a thumper. Just give me a sec. That's better. Oh yeah, I also totally didn't come within like a millisecond of death or anything. That didn't happen. Of course, though, you know, death would come anyway when I did this. Bro, oh my... How? Look at the way I'm dead on the fucking railing, but really? I was not overusing that. Well, I'm cooked. There's nothing else I can do. Dude, I knew Rend plus Cruiser was the play. Trust no one, not even yourself. I got it. We see Bob's Great Lightning Storm, though. He set a giant on fire. Oh my, that is hilarious. Get absolutely destroyed. And then on day 2, I finally got to do this stupid tree jump I've been wanting to do.
That's right, I'm a real gamer. I know the strats.
In contrast, though, day 2 actually went pretty well. Perhaps this run isn't dead just yet?
You like jazz?
And finally, we come to the final day of the quota, in which I have to collect nearly 600 scrap value. Okay, yeah. Quite a tall order, I know, but one that I must take nonetheless. Okay, this is Mineshaft. This is actually good, because there's more loot that spawns in these tunnels. Still, though, all was going well until it happened again. Bro! I cannot believe that happened twice in one. Oh, there it is. That's over. GG. That's so stupid. Murdered right in front of my child. I'm sure he won't grow up to be a superhero. Or a wizard. Or a serial killer. Well, that's GG. I suppose I'll just go somewhere dumb. No point in selling when I don't have enough anyways. A moon so dumb I usually just avoid it entirely. Offense. Actually, in hindsight, it should have been Embryon, but whatever.
As you have not met the profit quota, your performance has been deemed below standard. Welcome to our disciplinary process.